Hi guys, welcome. Today we are going to pick the last of our 2024 potatoes. Stay tuned until afterward and I will share with you the successes and failures I had with my 2024 potato experiments. I'd like to welcome you to my backyard Kentucky homestead. My name is Kim and let's get started. We have our July 5th and June 20th potatoes here and let's see what we get. I did already remove the foliage from this. It was all dyed back a little bit. So there we have it. Not a whole lot. I was expecting more. I will not be using these tall, quote unquote, potato grow bags anymore. I have not had luck with them the 3 times I've used them this summer. I really think that the potatoes need more space laterally, side to side, as well as depth. They just need more space to move around, to grow. So, and a lot of these smaller ones, we'll have to use these pretty fast because they won't store very long. So anyway, so here we go. I'll weigh this up and put the number on the screen. So I've shared with you the harvest from June 20th and July 5th. Let me explain a little bit about what I did this year. So to start, back in late December, January, I had some potatoes that were growing eyes. They were no longer usable. Once they get to a certain length, they're actually not good to eat. They could actually make you sick. So I had 2 options. I could toss them or I could try planting them. I was thinking, if you miss a potato, it overwinters, it volunteers the next year, why not try that intentionally? It worked. Not all of them. Some of them did rot, but the majority of them made it. From the July planting, I ended up harvesting 31 pounds of potatoes. Now, the January planting was in a raised bed, and that was by far the biggest. It was a variety of potatoes from last year, 2023. It had Purple Viking, Yukon Gold, Red Norland, Rose Gold, and a few other ones. It was a whole conglomeration of potatoes. But it worked really, really well. 31 pounds of potatoes. On March 20th, about a month before our last frost date, I planted 2 sets of potatoes. Red Norland, 5 pounds, and Yukon Gold, 5 pounds. So I had 3 grow bags for each one of those. And about 3 months later, I harvested 27 pounds of potatoes. Super successful. Really, really nice. So then on April 20th, I had some russet potatoes I had gotten from Azure Standard. And they, again, were going to seed. They were sprouting and were no longer usable. So I had 3 grow bags of those. I ended up with 12 pounds from that. Not too shabby. In May, things took a little bit of a downturn. I got some mega chip seed potatoes from Menards, a 5-pound bag. Planted them in a 3 grow bag setup. I used the tall grow bags this time. The ones that, have the little floppy door that you're supposed to be able to see the potatoes. It actually doesn't work. So I set that up. I didn't harvest as many potatoes as I planted. I don't know if it was the type, if it was the bags. Did have a problem with those bags later on as well, but they didn't do very well. What you just saw in this video was the June 20th and July planting, which was also some leftover russet potatoes, and I ended up with about 5 pounds. So also not great. But I also, once again, use those tall grow bags. So what I discovered was that the grow bags that are wider, so what I used for the early ones was the 10 to 15 gallon wider grow bags. So not necessarily as tall, but definitely a wider circumference. They did far better than those narrower, tall ones that are traditional potato bags. So I will be probably tossing those bags because they're not worth crap. So use the wider bags if you're going to use grow bags. The raised bed did beautifully, but the tall grow bags for potatoes that are potato bags, not so good. Overall, I would say the early potatoes in raised beds or very wide circumference grow bags did really, really well. The ones later on didn't do quite as well as I had hoped. And my whole purpose with this was to try to have a smaller harvest over a longer period of time so that we could use the potatoes before they started growing eyes, because we don't have a really good cold storage place for them right now. And it was mediocre, but the early harvests were fantastic. So we'll definitely be doing that again. And I'll probably be planting in January because we'll probably have some that will sprout. Couple other things, the Ruth Stout method, while it works, it's proven to work, was an absolute catastrophe, absolute failure for me. There were holes underneath where I planted them. I put a picture, I think I have, of it. I had like a handful, literally, of really tiny potatoes. Some of them grew. I mean, I had a ton of the Azure Standard russet potatoes I put out. Most of them are gone. I didn't get a fraction of what I put out there, put the straw on top of. Moles or mice, something had a feast and enjoyed it. So it did not work, and I probably will not do that again. So that pretty much wraps it up. So some things were really, really successful. Some things not so successful. If you are interested in planting potatoes, it's super easy. Check out my video that I posted earlier this summer about how to plant them. There are like 3 things that you need. Balanced fertilizer, some bone meal, and soil acidifier will all help your crop grow really, really well. So check out that video. I will definitely be planting potatoes again. I might actually try to grow some inside this year. I've seen other people do that. I might give that a try too. The raised beds are the best bet. I will do that again next year. I may actually do a succession in the raised bed, so I'll do one in March and then maybe one a little bit later. But raised beds worked really, really well. The wider grow bags worked really, really well. The tall potato bags, I would completely pass on that. Can't see them, and they just don't have enough room to really form up. And for me, the Stout method is just off the table. So anyway, hopefully you found this interesting, gives you some information that you can use for your own garden next year. And check out the other videos. And until the next time, I'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful day, and bye.